this episode of Extraordinary Women TV, the show wouldn't be complete without my Good to Know Minute, where you will learn the top success tips and tools from today's most extraordinary women. I'm Shannon Skinner, host of Extraordinary Women TV, live at Artfest in the Distillery District in Toronto. Okay, I am speaking with Linda Verkamp, owner of Stitch and Spoke. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Stitch and Spoke.
Right, so I've been doing this for about 3 years now. My focus is on embroidery and what's called applique, which is basically using fabric as an embellishment. And I'm selling t-shirts today, but I also do some accessories and some pillows using upcycled fabrics. My focus is on the sort of embellishment, so I use a couple different techniques. It's like a textile art. Yeah.
And what inspired you into doing textile art?
Well, I have a bit of a background in fashion design. I actually dropped out of fashion school a couple years ago and ended up doing another degree and working in the nonprofit sector for a few years. Yeah, I've always kept up crafting as a hobby, doing lots of different kinds of knitting and embroidery and whatnot. So I kind of decided this is the direction it was going to take, and I just decided to take a risk and started a few years ago.
At some point, I know that you had an illness and that changed your life. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
So I started this business in 2011, shortly after I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was only 28 years old, so it was a big shock, but it was sort of gave me an opportunity to try something that I've been wanting to try for a while.
So tell us a little bit about, I know that the t-shirt you're wearing has some symbolism with the hearts.
Yeah, it does actually. So this is one of my first designs, and it's still one of my most popular. It actually came out of my breast cancer story, with the scar and kind of showing how you can overcome. But 10% of the proceeds of this particular design go to a great organization called Rethink Breast Cancer, which is an organization based out of Canada that supports young women with breast cancer. So Rethink Breast Cancer, I was diagnosed myself when I was 28 years old in 2010, and Rethink was one of the first organizations that came up as sort of a support system. So I was able to connect with some other women my own age and really kind of help me get through it, share some stories, and it was a very positive experience for me. They have networking events to get to really work out the ins and outs of it, and they have a great support system.
And what's your vision going forward for your business?
That's a good question. It's always a struggle to try to figure out what the focus should be. I've played around with a couple of different product lines, and now I'm feeling I've got men's t-shirts over here, kids t-shirts over here, and I'm doing some upcycled dresses as well, which have been very popular. I source the dresses secondhand, and then I do the embellishments on them.
So tell us a little bit about those embellishments then.
So yeah, this is the dress I source secondhand, and then I do the I use upcycled fabrics and make the little hexagons on them, so I get to mix and match all the different colors, and I do the embroidery along the outside to sort of fix it in place.
And now, the Good to Know Minute. That one thing that has made you who you are today, what would you say that is?
Good question. I think just trying to go back to keeping that creative spirit in mind. I think both the aspect of doing the creative work and owning a business can be very creative, no matter what it is. But it's easy to get caught up in this sort of day-to-day making enough product, figuring out all the things that need to be done. So just to take a step back and say, why am I doing this, and what is it about it that inspires me, and I find always helps me come up with new ideas and remind myself why I love it.
So tell us about your day job.
Yeah, so I work in the I've worked in the nonprofit sector for a few years, and I currently work for a little environmental co-op called Trek, and we do we build renewable energy projects. So I had a design initially that had some wind turbines on it. I think I still have some around somewhere. Yeah, that's another sort of environmental inspiration for me.
So if you have any advice for a young girl who has a dream to do something very similar to what you're doing, what would it be?
Yeah, well, you can always, I think, just take a plunge and start small. I started with an online Etsy shop, Etsy is a great tool for starting a little handmade business. So that was a great sort of testing ground to sort of put my stuff out there and see what was getting some traction. And then from there, I started doing some small shows, getting more and more feedback, building things up a little bit more, and yeah, and I can always kind of scale it down based on where I am in my life right now. So yeah, just try it out and take a little plunge. You don't need really. I found for me, I didn't need any capital really to start it up. I was just able to start small and grow it incrementally.
Now, where can people find you and find out more information and buy your stuff?
Yeah. Well, I have an online shop, as I mentioned, on Etsy.com, and so you can find me at Stitch and Spoke at Etsy.com, and I list all my retailers and my upcoming shows that I do. So I do all sorts of outdoor markets, some indoor markets in the winter season and stuff like that as well. So they're all listed on my shop as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing some advice and your story with us today, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
If you would like to be a guest on Extraordinary Women TV, visit our website at extraordinarywomentv.com. I'd love to hear from you. Follow me on Twitter at Shannon_Skinner or on Facebook at Extraordinary Women TV. I'm Shannon Skinner. Join us next time for another episode of Extraordinary Women TV.